Hey, I wanted to give you a quick update on the situation with the mighty LeBaron. So I'm at the point now where most of the major mechanical stuff that needed to get done has been done. Let me update you on what I've gotten done since the last video. So let's start with the low-hanging fruit first, was a tune-up. So we've got new spark plugs, new spark plug wires, and a new cap and rotor, which are underneath this cover that you can't see. And the cap is an interesting design that I haven't seen before. Instead of simply having standoffs where you plug in the end of the spark plug wire, it just has slots cut in it. And the end of the spark plug wire has this flat barbed connector, and you stick that in the slot and then it expands out like kind of like an arrowhead and locks it into place. It's a design I haven't seen before, but I guess it works. So next thing, come over here. Probably not going to be able to see much, but we have new drive belts for the power steering and the alternator and the water pump, and most importantly we have a new timing belt. Now, this is the first time I've done a timing belt on a car. Fortunately, this is a non-interference engine, so I had the courage to do it myself. Overall, this was a pain in the ass, and the reason for that is that this is the upper timing cover. It's plastic, and basically you're supposed to be able to remove the bolts from this, and it's supposed to just slide off with a little bit of effort. And unfortunately, over the course of time, the bottom of this cover has warped a little bit, and it got stuck on the engine block. So to get this off, I had to remove the air conditioning compressor. I had to remove completely the alternator so that I could remove this aluminum bracket that holds both to the block. And there's about 7 bolts that hold this bracket onto the block, and one of them goes in the water jacket. So as I'm trying to get this off, I got coolant seeping out of this, and it actually seeps right behind the crankshaft behind the timing belt. Questionable design. So I got all that off, got the lower timing cover off, or the upper off, and the lower through the wheel well. It was, like I said, I think 7.5 to 8 hours to get that done, but it's done, and it seems to have been done correctly. The car is running fine. The new belts are running fine. So in regards to the AC compressor, this clutch is bad. The car came with a replacement clutch. I think the compressor itself is actually good, because I started removing one of these hoses as I was taking this off. I thought I might just take the whole thing off the car, and it started hissing. This car sat for like 23 years, and there's still a charge in this AC system and no leaks. So I'm hoping that I can just replace the clutch with the one that came with the car, and I might have an actual working AC system. Now this has the old R12 refrigerant in it, and I'm probably going to need to convert this to 134A, but that's not a big deal. If that's all I have to do to get this working, that's pretty cool. The job that I finished today was rehabbing the cooling system. So as we can see here, we've got a new upper hose. If you look way down there, there's a new lower hose. And you'll see there's a piece of old hose clamped around it. That's to protect it from chafing on this cross member right here. The old hose actually had chafe in it. It was almost ready to cut through. This lower hose also has a T in it. And that T goes to a line that goes all the way up here to this thing here, which is the heater core bypass device, which is vacuum operated. And if you look back here, you see that little hose here, there's one below it. Those are the hoses that go to the heater core. So basically it's impossible to put a T in here and use a garden hose to flush out the system. There's just no hose to do it. Flushing out the system is really weird. The back here, the hose that goes into heater core bypass comes from the engine block down there. That's 3/4 inch barb, and the one at the top is 5/8. So it had a custom hose in between, which doesn't exist anymore. So I had to fabricate a new hose to go in there. I got a picture of it, I'll show you. Basically it was a heater core bypass hose, like a U-shaped hose. U-shaped, that had 5/8 on one end and 3/8 on the other, and I simply cut it in half and stuck some brass barbs and a straight piece of 5/8 in there and recreated the hose. So another odd condition with this engine on the front here. See this box here? This is called the water box. On the side here is our coolant temperature sensor. And on the top is a fitting that you're supposed to remove when you're doing the coolant. Because in theory, this is the high point of the cooling system. So you take this out and you burp the system through this fitting. You're also supposed to add coolant through this fitting to top it off. Well, guess what? The box is aluminum, the fitting is steel, and they've been together for 40 years. They're not coming apart. So what I ended up having to do is right here is the thermostat and the new thermostat housing. So I drilled an 1/8 inch hole in the rim of the thermostat and put that hole at the top. And that allows air to bleed out the thermostat when the thermostat's closed. It comes up to the radiator. And I jacked up the front corner of the car to make it the highest point of the system and burped through the radiator cap, and that worked pretty well. I ended up having to drain out the coolant as best I could. I put in water, ran that for a while, drained that out, filled it up with water again, but this time with a coolant flushing chemical. Ran that for a while, maybe 1 or 2 hours, and then drained that out as best I could and put new coolant in. So it's been a multi-day process on the cooling system. But I think I've got it in a pretty good situation, certainly better than it was. So what's next for the mighty LeBaron? I have a few issues I have to deal with. First, I still have some sort of exhaust leak up towards the front of the car that I'm going to have to look at and deal with. Second is the fuel line is not staying pressurized when the car is off. So if the car sits overnight and you go to start it, it takes about 15 seconds of cranking for it to start because they have to pump fuel all the way from the gas tank to the engine. There was a check valve in the fuel sending unit that's in the gas tank. That check valve no longer exists. But I have purchased an inline check valve that I'm going to install in one of the soft fuel lines, hopefully tomorrow. That should resolve that problem. The other two issues are kind of minor. The gas gauge does not work. Again, that's the fuel sending unit in the gas tank. The level sensor is apparently bad. The problem I have is that the fuel sending unit for this car, replacements do not exist. The sending unit was unique to 85 model year throttle body injection cars only, and there just aren't any out there that I've been able to find yet. Eventually I may take the fuel sending unit out to see if I can repair the level sensor. It's not a big deal right now. I'll just keep an eye on how far I drive, and I'll just get gas once in a while. The final issue is pretty minor, is that the tach only works intermittently. It's something in the dash. It's not a big deal. The car has an automatic. I'm not too concerned about it. Eventually I'll fix it because I want everything in my cars to work properly. It's just the way I am. Other than that, the car is in good shape and is ready to be driven. So the next few weeks I'll get it insured and registered hopefully, and then I will be able to go for a drive and I'll take you guys along. So that's the situation with the LeBaron right now. Thank you for checking out the video. If you have any comments, please put them in the comment section below. Thanks and have a good day.